接下来即将进行的是今天的最后一轮多人对谈，解构重构新实景娱乐。And now comes to the final panel discussion, LBE Re Imagined. 同时呢，我们依然是要邀请到几位大咖上台，他们是来自于 Marshmallow Laser Feast 的制作人 ，the executive producer of Marshmallow Laser Feast。Eleanor Whitley 以及 Dreamscape Immersive 副总裁 Head of Production at Dreamscape Jennifer Cook 以及惠普全球的 VR LBE 负责人 Global Head of VR LBE HP Joanna Popper 以及 Ballast 的创始人 Founder of Ballast Stephen Greenwood. He is the moderator.他作为我们这一轮的主持人，让我们掌声欢迎 Welcome.
Thank you very much, guys, for hanging through the day to stick with us for the final panel. We're very excited about this. I'm glad you are too. Great. Let me just introduce everybody one by one. My name is Stephen Greenwood, and I would like to introduce our distinguished panel today, who are all much more experienced than I am in LBE. So this is good because I'm actually going to be asking questions that I'm genuinely interested in, because I have a lot to learn about LBE. First, we have Eleanor Whitley, who's the executive producer at Marshmallow Laser Feast. Eleanor, tell us what we're seeing in these images and what Marshmallow Laser Feast does.
This is going to be a surprise. You're seeing, this is a picture of an exhibition that we, or an installation we had recently in London at the Saatchi Gallery called We Live in Ocean Air. It's multi-person, so 6 people at a time, 12 people every 20 minutes. It's a piece about humans' connection to nature, so we're looking at how trees breathe and how we breathe. We're tracking your breath, we're taking your pulse, and we're matching those two things together. So you're kind of immersed in the landscape of a giant sequoia forest, and then you're taken kind of up the tree. It's VR Vive Pro with HP backpacks, with custom breath sensors, custom trackers for the heartbeat as well. And this is what Marshmallow Laser Feast do. We make work which is always experience-led, location-based often, and it's about controlling the experience of the audience right from the moment they enter that world, so that'll be the gallery door, right through to when they exit. The VR becomes part of an exhibition or part of the experience that we're creating.
And you'll have to explain what's going on here.
Yes. This is Sweet Dreams. The teaser version of this premiered at Sundance this year. This is Marshmallow Laser Feast and moving in one. We're continuing to do all kinds of work, but one direction we're moving in is thinking about how virtual reality plays a role in theatre and immersive theatre. So this is a piece, it's our first narrative piece. It uses live actors and interactive mechanical, which is a term I just learned recently. So basically we're engineering kind of solutions in order to feed you things and allow you to drink things. The piece is called Sweet Dreams. It's about a place called Luscious Delicious Land, where everyone's eaten everything and they've lost the ability to taste. It's about greed, about gluttony, and kind of a slight commentary on perhaps what we're doing to the earth and how we might start to think about it, but all wrapped in a sugar coating and sickly sweet kind of pink world.
And what's the venue for this?
The venue, so we are currently making the feature the kind of full version. So it was, originally we've done it at Sundance in New York, we did it in London recently, and now we're kind of going into production on the kind of 60 to 90 minute kind of full version of what we refer to as a feature version of it.
That's great, thank you. Jenny, what is Dreamscape?
We are a LBE VR company. We both create the content and we're the exhibitors, and we have our first flagship location opened up in Westfield Century City in California.
So I actually went to Los Angeles recently to do this experience, and what you're seeing here, this is the first thing you see when you walk in.
The check-in desk. So the theming of the entire brand of Dreamscape is not focusing on the hardware or the technology. We really want to be inviting and warm to all ages. So we went with something that was somewhat similar to a train station, downplaying the technology, even utilizing the large clock, bringing you in and talking about the fact that the brand of Dreamscape is about taking you on adventures.
And I just have to say that, like, in comparison to some of the venues that you can do VR and LBE VR, there is what I like to describe as like a Disney-esque level of detail to the music that's playing in the background, the lighting, the signage, the props.
And not by coincidence. I mean, we have Respond, the CEO of our company, came from Disney. There's many of us, including myself, who came from Disney. So we really focus on the brand of Dreamscape, and then we will have the titles roll through, which we hint to in our lobby by different products there, and display cases of art. But we really want that guest journey. And
we don't have any pictures of the actual inside of the spaces.
On purpose. The inside of the theaters, we don't, just like Disney, you don't go behind the scenes to see the workings of it. You want to stay immersed in the story. These are our first 3 titles that are playing at the moment. We opened with these in Westfield Century City, and these will be in our openings as we roll out throughout domestic and Dubai. We will refresh probably Los Angeles first. We're constantly making content from now rolling to the future.
Great, thank you. And Joanna. So HP's technology powers a lot of these different exhibitions all over the world. Tell us what we're seeing here.
Sure. So thank you for hosting us here in China. It's great to be here. This is our second year here, so we're really excited to be back. So HP is a company that was founded actually 80 years ago, so long legacy. It was the first company in Silicon Valley. So it was 2 founders in a garage actually creating technology with Walt Disney, who you guys were just mentioning. And so for us, we see VR as the future of computing, and so it's very important for us to be taking a leadership role in building out what that future of computing looks like. And we've had the pleasure and honor of working with many of the great location-based entertainment companies on the stage and in the audience and throughout the world. This project specifically was actually just recently showcased at the Cannes Film Festival. So that was the Intel booth. There's Diego over there. And they're showcasing 2 or 3 different projects. I think this one was specifically First Man, which was done with Universal Pictures. And then they showed Le Musk, which was created with ARR, who's a famous Indian composer. And so we're on the positron chair, and the positron chair maps to the experience, and then we're showcasing it on the new HP Reverb headset, which is a very, very high resolution headset. This is a real-time picture. This is from last week, and So Real. So Real is an LBE, a famous location-based entertainment venue in Beijing. It's kind of in the center, a little bit near Tiananmen Square. And they're showcasing, it's a very large venue. They have everything from VR cinema to PvP to multiplayer. They have some new music games. And here's a 2-on-2 multiplayer that they have where you can really see it pretty much from all around different places in the mall. If you look down, you can see it from all the different levels. And so we're playing this PvP game. And they're also using our headsets and our backpacks. This is a project called Drop in the Ocean. It was showcased at Tribeca Film Festival in April. It's also an environmental-oriented project, which is done together with Conservation International, with the idea of making sure people don't pollute our oceans as much, and you see the impact of the plastic bottles that we throw in the ocean, what that does to the fish and what it does to the environment. And then, here's 2. One is a project that we did, again, together with Intel and Springbok Studios. It was to raise money for Stand Up to Cancer, and it was showcased at Tribeca, and it won the Tribeca X Award. And then on the yellow headset is actually our previous generation headset, the Windows Mixed Reality headset. And that was a project that the fashion brand Hermès did in France in all of their retail locations. And so they customized it to match their brand and make it look even more fashionable than it already did. So they're using it for, many of the other projects were either they're companies and venues that are driving revenue or profitability for themselves, or they were pop-ups at film festivals that are in competition or seeking awards. And then the amazing example is an example of a marketing project that's using VR to drive traffic or drive revenue for the company. Okay, and this is Spaces. Spaces is a location-based entertainment company. They started in Los Angeles. They already have about 4 or 5 locations open, and what I wanted to highlight them because they're about to open a location here in China with their Chinese partner Songzhen, so you can go and see them very soon.
This is a video from that experience?
This is a video for them. They 3D scan your face, and so your avatar, your Terminator avatar, actually has your face on it, and then they give that to you so you can put it on your WeChat and your other social media and share and help them spread the word of virtual reality. And so that one I wanted to definitely highlight because they'll be in China, and so I know a lot of our audience here is local from China, and so you can go and see them in I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Hangzhou? Is that right? Maybe, okay. Hangzhou, you guys know the city I'm talking about.
And so people can book that on spaces.com if they're interested in doing it?
I don't know how you actually book it, but book for them here in China. It's probably through their partner, I would imagine, which is Songzhen. Probably not saying that.
And I'm just going to give myself a quick plug here too, because we are
also...
also...
because we went on your experience today, which is amazing.
Yeah, everybody got in the pool today. I've been at the pool all week giving underwater demos. This is what we do. We create hardware, software, and content, and operate LBE experiences, mostly in other people's properties, so usually in water parks, hotels. We make a system that works in water, in pools, and then on water slides. And this is kind of our next foray into operating our own location-based LBE centers. This will be a system that can be essentially installed anywhere. So it doesn't have to be inside of a water park where people can change into a swimsuit and then get into the water and hold on to thrusters as they go through an underwater roller coaster ride, basically.
That's nuts.
So I wanted to paint that picture here because I think we all come from unique angles in the LBE market, whether it's providing the technology that facilitates a lot of these places or running your own owned and operated experiences and getting to have the control from end to end of what that entire experience is like, or creating experiences that are operated in other people's spaces and then figuring out a way to market that and bring an audience in. So those are kind of the perspectives that we're going to be talking about from today. I guess to open it up, what makes a good LBE experience?
I think you're putting what's critical is putting the guest at the center of the experience. The whole concept of bringing them in is to entertain them, so you don't forget that they're that center focal point of what you're doing. And so everything from the way you ticket them, handle them, move them through your experience, make sure your experience is involving them and immersing them totally. And once they exit, keeping in touch with them and making an entire world that they've entered. So it's not just coming into the experience, and that experience is a short part of it. It's the entire guest journey.
Who within Dreamscape had previous experience from a different industry or from guest entertainment?
All the Disney people. We have a lot of Disney people. Our, at Bruce Vaughn, like I said, as CEO, I come from 20 plus years making feature films at Disney, so storytelling, but I understand the parks. I worked a little bit with the parks and emerging technology with WWTI. Chris Purvis is our CSA. He worked on technology with Walt Disney and engineering for the parks specifically. We have a lot of people who came. I could go on and on. Chris Gabriel, who is our design engineering team, actually created design and engineering for Disney as well. We have even more. So I think everybody comes into that premium level experience with Pixar, Disney level storytelling that involves it, and then we have involved the entire film industry in the essence of what it's storytelling experience. And then our operators are trained that way.
some of the retail experience to the door.
We have our head of retail actually is Ron Junkin, who comes from Summer, comes from Gap, and he understands retail experience at that premium level as well. And one quick correction I'm going to tell you is we do own and operate West Century City. Our AMC that's been open in Dallas, AMC will run that site. Now that is very, very close ties to us, and obviously we're going to help train staff, and we're working closely with the AMC will run their sites.
Yeah,
I think I completely agree with everything Jenna said, and to us about content texting, which can happen as well. So we're not controlling, we're not building, we're leveraging people's audiences and spaces in order to bring content there. We treat obviously that much. It's curated. There's a level of directional curation that's involved in bringing our work into space. So I think we do a lot of work to help people understand or how our work can fit into stuff that they're doing in a broader context, bring new audiences in. So for me, it would only attract the audience, which is meant for that building anyway, but also space, also new people or those hard to reach ages, especially in LBE using VR technologies or headset devices.
Now, when you guys started out, you were creating content, but you weren't necessarily doing LBE experiences, or it was designed to be LBE for the outside?
I think we have started to describe and kind of should have always been describing ourselves as we're experience-led. So we've all got backgrounds in our studio of the live environment, whether that be music or performance or festivals or whatever that might be, or design of certain different contexts. So everything we do is about the live world, it's about the experience world. So the fact that we now use device-based or headset-based technologies is just an additional kind of technique or platform that we can bring into those worlds. So live projection.
It wasn't your first rodeo as far as creating an experience.
Yeah, but I think obviously there's many challenges and unique opportunities when you are using headsets and those devices. It allows you to take people to different worlds, just as Jenny was describing nicely earlier. So for us, it was about fine-tuning how we know how to treat an audience and scale up, make things bigger, make more people be able to go through, allow more people to be able to go through, start to think about revenue models, and because we understand the production the workflows, we understand how we can treat, how we know what quality is in terms of that user experience, and we want to see that kind of end to end, just as Jen was saying as well. Excuse me. So we've obviously been learning a lot about how to do that, how to create those worlds, but bringing in projection and light and music and other multi-sensory things that we do into those worlds that use different headsets.
You guys do that really well, and you guys, like you said, to answer to your first question, the answer is that you guys want to make an experiential experience for your guests. You look at the content, you want to create the stories, how you want to put them through it, and then you push the boundaries of the technology to support that, as opposed to looking to the technology and trying to build within it. Yeah, you're making the technology push. Yeah, and I think that's going to be what that's great if everybody's doing that with our technology today, because it's just going to continue to force the technology to advance, but it should always be in support of great art. Yeah.
Amen.
So, I think working in this space, in the VR landscape in general, LBE has sort of stood out in the last few years as being one of the success stories in the industry, because it's proven that people want to come and have a great experience in these places, something that takes advantage of all of your senses and really, using heat or wind or smell, sense, is a curated experience that you just can't get at home. But do you think that people are aware of this? Is that the hard part?
I wouldn't say that people have bought into the LBE is a success model yet. I think we're proving it there, and I don't want to sit back and say we are. There's a lot of question whether it is, and that's what is the goal, and it's the responsibility of everybody working in the LBE space to really make sure that we are making it successful. We're looking at how to make great content at a business model that can be upheld, because there is a lot of amazing content that just doesn't hold water if you really make any money on it. So, you know, that we want this to be successful. We want this to continue to grow, and it'll build a hunger amongst our audiences if multiple companies are doing it. But we're not out of the woods yet. Everybody's got to keep pushing on that right now.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. Like someone was like, you're one of these people who's worked out how to make this work, and I was like, whoa, just hold on a second. Like, yeah, we've done some good stuff, and yes, we proved that we can sell out a show for 5 months to over 30,000 people, and we can make revenue from that, and we can pay back the people who helped us pay.
Did you guys catch those numbers? She slipped in there, because that's a serious feat.
Yeah, it's good, but it doesn't prove the point. Like, we're not skipping the way to the bank. What the proof of that show will be that it can tour, that we can scale it, we can have it in multiple countries at a time, and that it still drives audiences to higher than that over longer periods of time. And I think, you know, we're working out which content works, what's enough, you know, to get people to come to tell their friends. Where's the balance between length, amount of people that can go through it, capital costs? Like, there's so many variables that we're all kind of working out how to best operate if you hand that over to somebody else and they can operate it well enough. It's kind of like handing stuff over, but we want at that, obviously, because we want this content to get out into the world. We want to be able to go, okay, these parameters work really well. We as Marshmallow Laserbees have worked that out. How do we work with our friends and other colleagues to bring other content in, or we do a kind of talent pipe development stuff, so there's talent all over countries who can operate this stuff well, and then we can go, great, now let's get your show in there and we'll go make another one. You know, like, there's things that we need to do together to really kind of bolster the success.
Joanna has actually got the most unique view on it, if you ask me, because we both know our business from our LBE and how we're looking out, but Joanna goes across, and as her picture shows, globally, she's got more experience with what's happening in the LBE world, so I'm more curious what Joanna answers it also.
I think that one way of looking at it is that, you know, when we were in the so-called VR winter, there were two key areas where people saw more revenue coming in. One was LBE, and the other was enterprise. And like within enterprise, there's training, there's medical, there's architecture, engineering, construction, there's higher ed. There's a number of different things that I would put into that category. So we were seeing revenue coming in. It's still up to each individual operator and each individual content creator and venue to figure out whether or not they can operate at a profitable model, or if they're investing now, you know, to putting an investment to scale and then becoming profitable when that scale tips over. So I would say it certainly has been a bright light in the industry, and that's one way to look at it. And the other thing is, I think it just makes a lot of sense right now, right? You know, the majority of people have never tried VR. You know, next level, the majority of people certainly don't have headsets at home. We're hoping to start seeing some of those numbers shift, but having your first VR experience in a location-based entertainment venue for most people is a more positive first experience and a more likely experience to want you to try again, see other content, and check out more things. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, you're most likely going with friends and family, so that's a behavior we all know, going out to be entertained with friends and family, right? And probably paying some money for it. So that's a behavior that we understand, right? So the difference is what that technology that you're interacting with is. But we've done that, you know, and you may be going to a theme park, a movie theater, a mall, a museum. Those are places that we go to be entertained or edutained in some cases. The prices are usually within reach of, you know, large parts of the audience, anywhere from, I don't know, $5 to maybe some $50 on the upside. That's a lot more accessible for people from, you know, broad audiences than the cost of the technology. And then you also have, you know, those great operators on hand to walk you through, to troubleshoot the tech should there be any issues, and so then you're not taking that on for yourself. So I think the social aspect, the multiplayer aspect, you know, getting to try different content, getting to have access to the technology without having to necessarily invest in it, all of those, and then, you know, these great companies creating marketing, reaching out to people and bringing them along that journey, I think has been impactful and effective, and still a lot more to come as all the companies scale out a lot further, and we see more venues and more places for people to go, and people become increasingly more familiar with the technology and the experiences overall, not the technology, but the general experience, I would say.
I like listening to her answer, because I think between Joanna, there's a question about Joanna, Ted, which one of you have seen more VR? I think between you two, you have covered the world.
It's my VR brother.
Exactly, your twin, your VR twin.
My VR twin.
What venues do you think that we'll start seeing more locations pop up in? Is it retail? Is it in malls? Is it in dedicated spaces? Malls? Is that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I think yes, we react mostly to people talking about commercial property spaces and malls. Like that's where people approach us. I think for us, we're like, we would rather be in cultural spaces, I mean like the most broadest of sense, purely because part of our strategy is trying to use an audience that already exists, right, and not try and make one for something new in a new space. But I think that's kind of our background as well, so we feel safer in those spaces. But for us, the challenge is numbers and financially making it work on both sides for those cultural spaces. So I would love to be able to say, yeah, museums and like galleries and theatres and things like that. But I think probably the commercial spaces will get bigger first.
Museums, I mean, I think you're two in the moment, but I think everybody's interested in foot traffic, and it's a partnership on that front. You want to utilize some of the existing foot traffic, but you want to bring foot traffic to them. So it is a beneficial partnership, and if it goes there, I think lots of museums are your key.
Yeah, and a stat on that from our show is we brought 60% of the people that came to see Ocean Air hadn't ever been to a gallery before. Oh, and maybe more.
Jenny has some more stats.
90%. Yeah. Sorry, no. But that was, Westfield did that on purpose. They were investors, and 90% of the people came just for Dreamscape. So they're static on that number, and that's a great success story for us to tell.
I don't think there's any one answer to that, right? I think that there's, we're seeing theme parks, arcades, standalone venues, museums, cultural centers, retail. I mean, we even worked with Walmart, and we did a tour with Walmart through their parking lots of Walmart, starting in Burbank and going all the way to Walmart's headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas. And Walmart's goal in that project was to drive retail traffic and to have people buy more merchandise. And their numbers were astounding. They sold out, I think, in a day or two what they had originally planned to sell for the entire tour, which was a 14-city tour. So that was their goal. We worked together with DreamWorks on How to Train Your Dragons. Their goal obviously was to get people excited and go see the third installment of the movie. So I don't think there's a one answer. I think it's too early to say. First, also I think each company is going to have different goals and different reasons that they're leaning into virtual reality or augmented reality for their business, right? So in some cases, so that's one. And then two, different type of content is going to be more appropriate in different places. There's an example, I went to the Holocaust Museum in LA recently, and they had a piece that had been at Tribeca. That piece probably would not be appropriate in the middle of a theme park or the middle of a crowded mall, but it was very appropriate in that museum, and it fit well, right? So I certainly don't think there's a one answer. Maybe we'll see more of a surge in one area or another, but really, this holds true not just in our entertainment area, but the other areas of VR. People are using VR to either drive revenue for their business in one area or another, to increase customer satisfaction, to decrease costs, to decrease time or efficiency in a training application, and in this area also to create innovative experiences that makes the audience feel super connected and immersed and even more part of that story. So I think there's still a lot to see and a lot to come.
Jenny, when people come to Dreamscape, they have a choice of 3 different pieces of content. Do you see, is it split between all 3? Is it trending heavily on one? I guess the larger question I'm getting at is how much will content play a role in bringing people in? And will that actually sway people, to go after one experience, or is it kind of just like?
I mean, at the moment, we don't have, we think it's really split amongst them because we have such high utilization rate, and that sounds very braggy, and I'm trying to be braggy.
You could brag.
But that wasn't subtle.
Can we get a clap for that, brag?
That was a great humble brag.
Thank you, thank you.
But the fact that we're having an average of over, above 80% utilization rate, people come in and they may be coming in for one piece of content, but they're buying the available. But we're really getting across the board. All of the content is really equal, and our median age is about 32 years old. So we're getting disposable income, we're getting people with families, and they seem to be attracted to all three pieces. We're coming out with our first licensed IP. We've announced the Men in Black VR experience that will be coming out this summer. So we have 3 others in production that we can't tell you what they are, but those will drop in licensed IP, but we will always maintain original IP because we don't want to be looking like a movie theater. We want to be branded as content creators as well. So we'll have a mix of everything. I think we'll learn along the way what works.
Does the price point stay the same for the IP?
Yes, $20 a ticket.
Across per thing that you watch?
Eleanor, what's the pitch process for new content for the let's drink something out of a straw? Like how does this get formed?
That green light, maybe.
Yeah, good question.
Who has a dream and then gets to pitch that?
Well, that's our, because we make content obviously ourselves, so everything's developed and created in-house, and then the process of going out and finding co-producers is totally different depending on what the work is and what technologies we want to use, who hasn't done commissioned scripts recently, or who's looking to kind of move into the space. Often we get kind of people going, we're thinking about doing something, and we're like, yeah, sure, we'll take the first money. And
then there's financing that comes with that.
Yeah, but so for example, for this one, the British Film Institute is the first VR thing that they funded, and they're kind of looking at helping us move much more into storytelling and narrative. They're coming in for production funding on that, which is a really good base. And then we'll go out to co-producers. We're looking at theatre festivals, new media art festivals, people who want to do stuff at scale, things that can kick off at a festival or an event of some description and remain for months afterwards in certain locations. So that's kind of one way that we go down. And then with Saatchi, it was much more about, we were given the opportunity to exhibit at the space and they wanted to do a revenue share. We were like, sure, we wanted to try that for a while. So that was kind of much more like a film. We went out and found a film funder who was interested in kind of moving into this space. And they'll recoup first, obviously, we recoup after. Yeah, so it totally depends. It depends on the creative, depends on kind of who we want to bring in to help us make it better as well. So like, if it's around, so Greenpeace was quite a big kind of behind the scenes supporter of We Live in an Ocean of Air, just driving their audience to see the piece. The Eden Project, again, people who know about the natural world, it's a big, amazing place in the southwest of England. They supported us around all of the knowledge and making sure our interpretation was right. We weren't just making stuff up about some poetry. And then, but we wouldn't ever, we go to the right, this is not unique to location-based experiences, this is what people do and they create creative work, right? So it depends who we're looking to, who our audience is, and who we're looking to learn from as well.
Joanna, what do you hear from your partners that you work with? What are they requesting from you, from a technology standpoint? Is there something that's common that people are always requesting? Is it faster processing, more resolution?
That's a good question. Well, we just recently launched 2 new products, so I showed them both in the slides. One was our new headset, Reverb. I mean, we had previous generation headset that we launched about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, and so we spent that 1.5 years or 2 years working with content creators, like ones on the stage, as well as many others from all around the world in LBE, as well as in the 4 other industries that I mentioned earlier: training, healthcare, architecture, engineering, construction, and higher ed, and getting feedback. And we learned from our partners, there were 3 things they were particularly interested in at this point. One was the higher resolution, which is why it's 2160 by 2160 per eye. It's about 2x our previous headset. 2 was people wanted something that was really easy to use and lightweight. So even if you're a product dev and you're wearing it all day long. It doesn't hurt your neck, so it's only 1.1 pounds and a lot of weights in the back. And then 3 was people wanted something that was easy to use, so inside-out tracking, Windows Mixed Reality. So that was, working with tons and tons of partners. We actually had industrial designers go out to a lot of the LBEs. I think they went over to see Chris and see you guys, and so we sent the industrial design team, we sent the R&D team, we have the engineering team, which is in both Taipei as well as the US, then we get the product managers. So we have a lot of people really working on all of the latest tech and pushing the envelope to bring a product to market. And then on the backpack side, I think we're the first ones to put the RTX 2080 into a backpack, giving you that super high power that you can free roam with. You can both free roam or put it on your desk and have it be a really super compact PC. So that's where we are today. The hardware takes a bit, so we're already working really hard on what's our roadmap for 2020, 2021, 2022, working closely with partners again to see what people are looking towards, what are people wanting. The things I would say is that we're focusing on, just sort of high-level bioanalytics is a really big one for us. So having that two-way feedback between the audiences and the technology, and having the content creators learn even more about what the audiences are experiencing in the technology, and maybe even able to target the storyline in a certain direction based on that biofeedback. So bioanalytics is one that we're looking at deeply.
Is that strictly like things like heartbeat?
It's many things, Stephen. But that's all we're going to say. But it's many things. So that's an exciting one that we're looking forward to. I think in terms of just high level, everyone's looking to make things faster, smaller, more powerful, and sort of defy gravity in that way. Because sometimes you make it more powerful, it's harder to make it lighter. So continue to push that envelope on batteries, on resolution, on mixed reality between AR and VR, on wireless, or a smaller form factor in all directions. Those are some of the high-level things that we're digging down on and excited about.
I think that what is good about Joanna's team also is they're not just listening to the developers or the people who are creating content on what they want, their learnings on what they are experiencing. We definitely have been learning since we've been opened for the last 7+ months about the durability of product, because we're using it at a level that people, not just us, but everybody who has an LBE is using it at a level of throughput and just damage and just pounding on it. So we're finding things that you couldn't have known. There weren't metrics out there that told it, no matter how much you might test it. Putting people through it all day, 7 days a week. Humans are not gentle creatures.
I see Simon for our team nodding, because he's in our Taiwan team who's in charge of some of that. And they've done many, many tests, but then somehow, we learn new things when you guys take it into the wild, right?
And when it's in the wild, you get all that information. So the good part about HP is they're actually listening to that learning as well, and not just wish lists of what the developers want.
Yeah, we found the support agreement that we have with you guys over running and being live so crucial to the smooth running, right, and creating that really important experience that we talked. So it's got to be perfect for the audience. Yeah, but that's only perfect if the support at the back end is perfect, or that we've got that kind of throughput or that backup of capital.
I think that's what we're all learning at LBE. We knew there were gotchas, we knew things were going to be coming at us, and there weren't metrics out there to tell you about it, so we're all sharing that, and that's a good industry trend to figure out how to keep things running.
Yeah.
See, I had an advantage when we launched, because we would just push people down a water slide
And they're gone.
Wind up at the bottom, and I didn't have to see them again.
Yeah, so you're like pushing down a water slide and throw them in a pool. Basically my big brother.
I get eaten by a shark, or who knows. Yeah. That's really cool.
I do want to take some questions in the audience if there are any in just a second, but let's just reveal the orb right now. What's the future? What's coming? What are we going to see in the next 5 years?
It's underwater.
Yeah.
I like that.
The future's going to be revealed by the technology advancing and freeing us from being hindered by technology, and that's not a negative about it now. We just know stronger 5G, and all of the things that are coming down will open up new doors and avenues for the creatives to keep pushing.
I think the future for us is creating worlds where you come out and you don't know what's real and what's not. That's where we're going.
The future, I'd like to see that these experiences, I feel so lucky, and all of us in this room and that go to all of these conferences and festivals are so lucky that we get to experience these amazing innovators and creators who come from film and TV and gaming and movies and just so much passion and so much innovation and creativity in this industry, and very few people in the world get to see the great creations that you guys are imagining and creating. So I'm looking forward to the future where all of your projects are scaled out and it's easy to tell people in Qigndao and all around the world, oh, go check this out, and because it's something gets to a level like Men in Black, the movie, but like that day where everyone will be able to also go and see the Men in Black experience or the Oceans of Air experience. It's easy for them to access, so I'm really looking forward to that day.
Yeah, the beauty of it is content and art created that doesn't have pre-existing rules, so it's really free.
Maybe the future's what Adam's doing right now, which is seeing our panel in another world.
Nice, yeah. And I think the other thing I think is important around LBE is that that it will continue to be something that people can't specifically do at home because it's too big, or it has a moving vehicle, or it's too many people, and so we continue to take it to that next level so that people will continue to want to leave their house and get in a car and pay parking and pay for a ticket and go do something really, really fun with their family and friends.
Are there any questions in the audience? Okay. We got one.
I have a question for Ms. Founder. I had a very nice chat with your colleague, Mr. Hong, from Taiwan. And I'm also a lucky user of your shiny river you mentioned, and that's really kind of really amazing resolution. Yeah. But I see you are pushing out the backpack PC, the HP, and I'm asking because I have also another headset that's Oculus Quest. That's also easily portable and very convenient and even lighter than. You see, a backpack is a very PC is very expensive and not so mobile. So, what do you think?
I think about Quest
or your backpack PC?
Yeah, that's a great question. I also have an Oculus Quest at home. I love it. We had a Beat Saber championship this morning. I'd like to say I beat everyone. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's not important.
You do. You can say you beat everybody.
Nobody else is on the stage who was in the championship right now, so as far as I'm concerned, I was the champion. So yeah, I think the Quest is a great product, no doubt. It's a fantastic product, and I think in this industry right now, it's so early. It's important that there's many companies building great products. It's important that there's lots of companies putting investment, the investment dollars, the talented engineers, the brilliant minds across many, many companies, whether they be big, huge companies or whether they be, 3 PhDs who are, creating in a garage that next great company. So I think most of us in this industry very much welcome the innovations of our fellow companies, and we're really happy about it. What we have found is that there are different use cases for different products, right? So many people here, they traveled with their Quest and they maybe use them on the plane, or it's easy to pop on, on and off, and so we're really happy to have a product like that. And then there's other people for whom that level of resolution isn't high enough for what they're doing, whether it be that they're using it for training and they actually need to be reading text, or they're using it, for military training, a first responder training, a surgical training, or they're using it for a design review. And so for that design review, you need to really see the tires on the automotive car. So, and then for some content creators, they might appreciate the ease of use of a wireless product, but they don't feel that resolution is high enough for what they want to do. And so I think there's space for all of for different products in the market right now. And the backpack is mobile. You can travel with it, but yeah, certainly not as lightweight, and it does cost more money. But there's a big part of the market that wants that high resolution, the highest graphic fidelity, and is very focused on that as well.
Yeah, there's no way we could do what we do if we didn't have products like that. They're massively important.
But the future will be that product. They'll find ways, like we said, when 5G comes and we can move it to wireless and we can stream with that level of power and fidelity.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say probably 2 years ago, people would have thought maybe the backpacks would already be gone, and instead we're coming out with a new backpack with the RTX 2080. And so you could say, well, they'll be gone really soon because we'll have the 5G. But then the question becomes, when we do have 5G, what resolution do we have on the headset? And it's going to be, a constant sort of inverse equation between, is the wireless bandwidth enough? It's probably enough for the resolution we have today at that point, but then what will be our resolution at that point? So I think I'm not saying that the backpack as a product will have forever. I don't believe that, and I do believe that it will continue to get smaller and more agile. But I think that we've already seen it's been here and it's relevant longer than people originally expected.
The more tools we have in our toolboxes, the better, right? That's all we have time for. Thank you very much, guys, for coming in. Thank you.
And I want to, for the local audience, I want to make sure you meet Simon, who's here from our Taiwan team. We have Simon here, and then we also have Gloria. So please make sure that you meet him.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys. Thank you for your brilliant ideas. And here comes to the end of our summit. 那么到这里呢，女士们、先生们，我们的实景娱乐峰会的全部议程就已经圆满的结束了。